Hey all, Zach Lokes. Let's talk food. So we've been talking about ecosystem services and how we can directly support ecosystem services. What are some of the ideas that you came up with for how you can impact your ecosystems, whether it's your garden or your wild ecosystems on your own land or in your community? I'd like to know, so send me a message. And I want you to know that I was thinking about this too, and I determined that there's another really great way of directly impacting your ecosystem. We talked about enhancing it by adding organic matter, but another really great way, and it's sort of an interesting one, is that by actually using your ecosystem, you're positively impacting it. So ecosystems are meant to be, harvested from. They're meant to be processed. They're meant to be accessed. And I want you to think about that. Like a healthy ecosystem is one where let's take a prairie ecosystem, for instance. That's a favorite example of mine. When the bison roamed through the prairie ecosystems of North America and Canada and the United States, like when they moved through these ecosystems, they were eating the grass down, they were processing the seeds, they were depositing compost, manure, they were breaking up the soil with their hooves and creating depressions and exposing mineral soil for seeds to germinate. They were creating a positive impact on the ecosystem. So, another way that we can positively impact our ecosystem is by going out there and eating it. You get to have your ecosystem and eat it too, so to speak. So, and this is because, if you're out there and you're pruning off branches from your fruit trees and using them as kindling to start your fire, which is a good time actually to do pruning, is the time of the year when you want to have kindling for your fire. So, this is a way of opening up the canopy, increasing airflow in the canopy, using the ecosystem. When you're out there in the spring and you're chopping out your rhubarb and you're pulling those stalks out to make, a crisp, strawberry rhubarb crisp, and you're leaving those big leaves down on the border of your garden ecosystem, you're adding mulch layers, you're doing chop and drop, right? So you're creating an interaction with the ecosystem that's improving the ecosystem through use. You don't want your ecosystem to just go completely wild without any interaction. By using your ecosystem, you are helping to digest it. You're reconstituting it. You're contributing to the constant growth of woody material and growth of leafy material and growth of fruity material, and then turning it into other forms like compost. So let's use our ecosystems. And part of what we're thinking about is how this understanding of directly impacting our ecosystems relates to those big picture ecosystem services. And those include like those major things that ecosystems help us do. They include production of fresh air. They include purification of water, production of soil organic matter, production of food, and a sense of well-being and overall just health benefits. What I like to call like the ecosystem healthcare, or sometimes people refer to as the pharmacy, right? So those are those big picture benefits. So when you're directly impacting even a micro-edible ecosystem, like an edible laneway ecosystem, you're actually creating big picture benefits even in that small landscape, because every single tree is photosynthesizing and producing oxygen, and every single tree is creating soil organic matter through its leaf fall and through its addition of root material that sheds off and breaks up the soil and creates more pore space. So, all of those benefits happen in the micro landscape. So what does that make you think of when you consider that if you nurture a tree at home, you're actually contributing to big picture benefits, larger global ecosystem services? Can you think of some other, big ecosystem services? Are you in an urban area? What comes to mind? What are some of the benefits of trees in an urban area? Send me a message and let me know. And what about in a rural area? What are some of the benefits of trees in a rural area? Can you think of some cultural services? but also maybe some provisioning services or maybe regulating services. What are some other examples? So for me, another example of a really great ecosystem service that I see on the farm, but also applies in urban areas, is creating water meadows that capture storm runoff so we don't have overland flow of water across the fields causing erosion. So we create depressions in our garden systems, essentially inverted permabeds going down like this, and then we create water meadows that suck up the moisture, take up all that snow melt, suck up moisture from heavy rain events, and help to store that water and then release it to productive ecosystems. So there's a specific design type. And that's what we're going to get into in the next section of Talking Food. We're going to get into looking at some specific ecosystem designs like linear food forests and water meadows. So I hope that's some good food for thought, and we'll see you next time.